amazing, by the way. This is very
This is very nice.
You like this?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you
I
thinking?
love this. I love this.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Anybody can do this. It's free. Like you can do this if you work with kids or whatever. And it's astonishing to me that people don't do this all the time. It's flabbergasting. All right. Tell everybody where we are.
We're at the UCF main campus.
And do you want to put a plug in for your campaign?
Sure. My name is Nathan Lax. This is Michael Costas. We're running for student body president and vice president.
What year are you in?
I'm in my junior year.
I'm in my senior year.
Oh, okay. So you're almost out. What's your major?
Political science. With a minor in diplomacy.
Oh, that's interesting.
Political science and sociology.
Also interesting. Okay. So I'm going to count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and say move. Don't move until I say move, and then everybody move. Abortion should be legal in the 3rd trimester. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, move.
Same with me.
Both of you guys. Okay. Tell us why you agree.
Well, personally, I believe that abortion is something that's a human right. The ability to choose for oneself, to protect their own body, their own capabilities. I'm very much pro-choice on a lot of these issues. 3rd trimester, the way I see it, every time we try to move the bar back closer and closer to conception, it's more and more of an encroachment on the right of a woman to choose her own bodily autonomy.
Okay. Tell us why you slightly agree.
It's weird. I also am very pro-choice. I think abortion should be legal, but when it gets to the 3rd trimester, it's very late into the pregnancy. I know when you're having that tough decision, it might be more, it might bring more pain to the fetus itself. But what's important to me is that the U.S. with the Supreme Court said you can't outlaw abortion in the 3rd trimester. Or you can only outlaw abortion if it's in the 3rd trimester, which
Let me pause you. I have a question about something you said. You said more pain. What do you mean by that?
Well, as the fetus becomes more viable, later on into the pregnancy, it's possible that it can start feeling pain as you proceed to get the abortion.
Okay, so why are you only on slightly agree and not agree?
Because I feel like it's later into the pregnancy, and I don't know. The 3rd trimester is what, 27 weeks in?
I believe so.
Yeah, 27 weeks. Obviously, I'm a man, so I can't only say so much. But as a man, I would feel like it is.
Let's drill down on that. What do you mean you can only say so much? What do you mean?
I can't be pregnant. It's not up to me to have an abortion. Even if I got somebody pregnant, it's not really up to me what they do with that baby.
Do you think you should have less of a say in it than a woman because you're a man?
Yeah.
Why? Why?
Because I am not carrying the baby. It's different, when somebody actually has to proceed to give birth, possibly die giving birth, go through an intense amount of pain when giving birth. I'm not going to have to do that.
So I'm just trying to understand for myself. So do you think that somebody's immutable characteristic, in this case, you're a man, do you think that diminishes their access to truth? Like, do you think women, because they can bear children, have kind of more of access to truth and more of a political right to speak to that?
Yeah. But I don't think that means we should not hear what a man has to say. Or, if a partner is with somebody who's getting an abortion, I do think that opinion should matter. But it is up to the person who's bearing the child in the end.
Okay, I want to drill down on a couple things. You said abortion is a human right. What do you mean by that?
I believe that bodily autonomy, which abortion is an issue that stems from, is kind of central to the human state. It's one of our, the way I see it, inalienable rights, something that we ought to have secured by our government in order to maintain our own autonomy and not be forced into situations like having to carry a pregnancy to term, when it is, for instance, unviable. There are some instances where that's pushed back on in, circles in which somebody would be trying to get this is the term ectopic?
Yeah, when it's trapped in there.
Right. One of those fetuses removed. Even if an abortion or a fetus would be viable at some point within the 3rd trimester, a lot of the times when we push it back to further and further closer to the conception, the people that have these medical issues that require them for their own well-being and to, there's nothing really to save at that point, it makes it more and more difficult for them to get the medical procedures.
Okay, so you said something that just struck out. How can we figure out what's an inalienable right?
Oh,
Good question.
well, I need to remember Dr. Lebez's class. Shout out Dr. Lebez, talking about the concepts of liberalism and the inalienable rights of man, utilitarianism.
Who knows what Dr. Labetz talked to you would actually use at some point in your young life?
Absolutely. I mean, it's such an interesting class. Anyway, a lot of these issues, the way I see it, can be seen as almost utilitarian, seeing, what causes pleasure, what causes pain, what is the most good to the most people. I'd say taking a look at it through those lenses kind of helps us, determine what is an inalienable right, as it's something that would benefit society having secured towards humans.
Okay, how do we know that the issue of abortion should be looked at through a utilitarian lens as opposed to a deontological or egoistic lens?
I haven't gotten that far in Lebez's class yet, I'll be honest with you.
Okay. So if you haven't gotten that far, how confident are you that abortion is an All right, let's reset. Let's go to neutral. New claim.
Sure.
Abortion is an inalienable right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, move. Okay. So what is an inalienable right to you?
An inalienable right, to me, is something that if you live in a given space, in that given territory, and there are a set of rights, you have access to that as an individual in that space.
Very interesting. This is fascinating. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. So an inalienable right is determined by a culture and a space.
Yes.
It's not a universal value that can be rationally derived.
We can advocate for that, but that doesn't mean it's gonna work like that depending on where you are living in the world.
So if that were truly the case, that it's subject to culture, it wouldn't be inalienable.
Fair point. Yeah. I mean, I think no matter where you are living, you should have access to abortion procedures.
Different question, though. Different question. Abortion is an alienable right, and you're strongly agree. What do you mean by inalienable?
Something that is guaranteed. You are guaranteed access to a safe and healthy abortion if you are wanting one.
So for you, so you refine that a little bit. So for you, it moved from it's now something that should be guaranteed.
Yes.
How do we know it should be guaranteed? Like, should it be guaranteed if you're in, if you're in Norway but not in Italy?
That's a tough question. I mean, I think it should be guaranteed wherever you are living.
So then it wouldn't be subject to the culture and the place.
I think personally, it should be the same universally, but
Okay.
depending on where you live, you will have different standards and legal procedures when you are trying to get an abortion.
Right. Okay. What do you mean by inalienable?
Well, I kind of go back to things like the Declaration of Independence, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The way I see it, abortion is an issue that on some specific level touches all three of these core topics. On life, when it comes to people facing, ectopic pregnancies, things that would threaten their life if they carried to term, having the ability to have that choice is central to preserving their own life and therefore allowing them that right. On liberty, the ability to choose on all of these topics, such as abortion, the ability to choose is that very sense of liberty. It's what allows them that autonomy that's so central to our society. And pursuit of happiness, a lot of the times, even if they would survive an abortion or not an abortion, if they would survive carrying to term in a situation where it could be life-threatening, they could be left, never quite really the same as a result of that.
Right.
And-
Okay, let me ask you a question. No. How confident are you that you're on the right line?
Absolutely confident.
1 to 10.
10.
10.
Let me see. I was thinking of like flipping. Let me see. I don't think I have any coins. Shit, I don't have any coins. That's okay. Do you have a coin read?
Yeah, Siri.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I would flip a coin.
Hey Siri, say heads or tails.
Tails.
Hey Siri, flip a coin. It's tails. Woo! And what did you win?
I guess.
Okay, so you walk all the way down to strongly disagree.
There we go.
Okay. Tell him what an intelligent person would say who strongly disagreed with abortion should be an inalienable right. What would their argument be?
On a lot of levels, I think the argument would be about the definition of human life. It's something that, a lot of people disagree on the exact definition of when life starts. Personally, as you know, I stand on the other side, but some people
We're
see
steel manning it.
right. Some people in this situation would see life as beginning at, say, conception or at heartbeat. The way I see it.
I'm going to ask him now. When does life begin? Tell him.
Once there's a heartbeat.
And in the third semester, in the third in the third trimester, is there a heartbeat?
I personally don't know.
If I could show you that there were a heartbeat, would you be willing to move to agree?
Maybe. I would. I do want to add, it's hard to pinpoint exactly when life starts because there are some people that strongly claim it's once that, the egg and the sperm meet. Some people say it's third trimester. Some people say it's at this point.
Some people even say onism, it's the sperm.
Yeah.
All right, so it's not even a fertilization. Okay. What would it take someone who's intelligent and thoughtful who holds this position to move from strongly disagree to disagree? Like, what would it take to weaken their confidence in their belief?
Honestly, I'd say a lot of it comes down to the specific definition of a human life. That's something that we've been arguing about, since basically the beginning of human life. Finding that specific point.
And when do you think human life begins?
At birth.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and normally I would. Can I ask you a personal question? So I see you have a.
Yes.
So you're Jewish.
Yes.
So in the Talmud, doesn't it say that the life of the fetus is between like the skin tissue and an adult life?
That's correct. There's a specific, there is definitions within the Talmud, within a lot of Jewish teachings that disagree with a lot of what I'm saying, but at my very center, I don't necessarily go along 100% with what, say, the Talmud or the Mishnah or the Torah says.
Yeah.
I'm consider myself a Reformed Jew. As a result, there's a little bit more interpretation.
Right,
I know
right.
even among Orthodox circles, it's a lot similar.
All right, cool. Anything to say to the person on the strongly agree to try to convince him to move one line over? What would you tell him to move one line over?
If I had to tell
your
him
best
something
argument
to move over.
Yeah, thought experiment.
Thing about viability. When it comes to when a fetus would be viable, if that's within the third trimester, if the birth happened right then what is the difference between, say, when it would be viable and when it's actually born?
What's your best argument to move him one line to the disagree?
If you do not have safe access to abortions, more women will die, and also more possible babies will die.
Safe access to abortion in the third trimester.
In the third trimester. Because there are certainly people that use clothes hangers and very unsafe methods and unsanitary methods that if people are going to do the abortions anyway, we need to make sure it's the safest possible for everybody in the procedure.
Is women... Oh, let's reset to neutral one more time. Sorry.
This is amazing, by the way. This is
very nice.
You like this?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
I love this.
Okay. Okay. Anybody can do this. It's free. Like, you can do this if you work with kids or whatever. And it's astonishing to me that people don't do this all the time. It's flabbergasting to me. Okay. So I'm going to reset. The question is...
As a reason, is this a good reason to be?
Yeah. As a reason, women as a class have been historically oppressed. As a reason, is that a good reason to believe that abortion should be legal in the third trimester? So, because women have been oppressed as a class, is that a good reason to believe that abortion in the third trimester should be legal? Think about it for a second. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, move. Okay, tell us why you agree with that.
I think it's unfair to suffer under the scrutiny of the patriarchy, only to be told that you still cannot do certain things with your body. You, for example, only about 100 years ago, they were told they cannot vote, and now we're still telling them that they cannot have safe access to abortions, which could, make their lives much easier. So
So historical oppression then should factor in or weigh into public policy, contemporary public policy.
I think we should use oppression to understand why things are the way they are, and we need to have a really deep and intricate look as to how different groups have been affected by oppression and what that oppression does today.
So if people have more historical oppression variables in their background, what follows from that in terms of their political rights?
That's a complex question. Can you repeat the question?
This isn't a game, son. It actually is a game. Can I repeat the question? I actually forgot what I said because I forgot what I said.
How does historical oppression factor into politics?
Oh yeah, how does and should historical oppression factor into public policy?
Well, I think it depends on the severity of the oppression, but again, that's just up to me. You know,
Let's say maximally oppressed, genocide.
then I think things should be established to prevent things like that genocide from happening again and to provide those who
For sure.
suffered from that genocide with a safe way of living.
So, if you don't want me to say this, I won't. You're Armenian, right?
Yes,
So you're Armenian. So your ancestors were in a horrific genocide,
Yes,
as were yours.
Absolutely.
Indeed, unarguably. So yeah, and my family as well. So should we, as Armenian Americans, get special treatment?
in America, I don't think so,
Why not?
because the genocide happened in Armenia. And I think if we were in Armenia
And Turkey.
and Turkey, I think if we were in Armenia, maybe there could be things that raise awareness towards the genocide. Maybe not specifically give us certain benefits, but allow for the history of that genocide to be told, so that way things like that cannot happen again.
Okay, I'm processing that. Real quick. You're Jewish.
Yes.
Should Jewish people get special rights because they're Jewish or public policies?
I don't know if I would say special rights in the political sphere, but I will say that more can be done in terms of the educational sphere
Okay.
as a matter of policy.
Should Jewish or Armenian women be given more special access to abortion in the third trimester because they're Jewish and Armenian?
No. No.
No.
But anyway.
Should African Americans?
No. Not specifically cut out more than anybody else. Everybody should have access to it.
So I'm a little unclear. What does historical oppression? How do we know what historical oppression should and should not yield in terms of policy advantages to the disenfranchised groups?
I'd say a lot of it is policies specifically to counteract what specific, discrimination these demographics have faced. For instance, with the Black American communities, policies to counteract the historical practice of redlining, specifically to help people in the economic sphere, would benefit society as well as the Black Americans that are specifically affected by it.
Okay, so let's take this. So let's say that we can agree that policies to counteract redlining would help African Americans.
Yeah.
What if that came at the price of non-African Americans? Should we still adopt those policies?
I think it would depend on what the price is.
Well, the price would be more expensive housing for white people, or the price would be lower income white families would be kicked out of their homes.
I think that would be something to look at, but definitely not, kicking people out of their homes. It's a conversation that I hope that our legislatures will have pretty soon. I will say, I wouldn't want to see anybody made homeless to rectify an issue like that. But I believe more can be done in, say, tax benefits, subsidizing.
Okay.
that sort of thing.
So I was actually. Do you know the word I was? This is a trick question. Well, not a trick. This is. Do you know the word I was looking for there? I was trying to get equity. Those are equity-based lenses, and we've never met before this, right?
No, we haven't.
No. Okay. Cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, bro.
Thank you very much.
Was that fun?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Cool.